Tokaji is probably the oldest winery in the world. It is situated northeast of Hungary, and their roots go back to the Middle Ages. And the Tokaji wines are famous wines, especially sweet wines, very well known since the 16th and 17th century. So it was the wine of kings and the king of wines. And so what we produce in Tokaji is a range of white wines. We have also dry wines, we have also late harvest wines. But the most important Tokaji wine is the Tokaji Asszú. The Tokaji Asszú, especially the 5 and 6 Puttonyos. And Disznókő is a specialist of producing these Tokaji Asszús, so we produce Tokaji Asszús since the beginning. And Tokaji is one of the most classic sweet wine, which is made in a very unique way. I think there is any other wine which is made in the same way as Tokaji. It is made of what we call the Asszú berry, which is a grape from the formint or Hásleveli varieties that we have in the Tokaji region. And these grapes have botrytis, but then when they have the botrytis, they become very dried, very shriveled. They become almost like raisins. And then these grapes are picked one by one, berry by berry, and we collect them into big vats for a couple of months in order to collect every Asszú berries from different selections. The principle of the Tokaji winemaking is a skin contact, is a maceration. So the Tokaji Asszú is made of by mixing these Asszú berries with a wine or fermenting must for 2-3 days. And during this skin contact, the sugars, the acids, the flavors, but also some polyphenols, some tannins are extracted, giving a wine a beautiful aromatic complexity, but also a beautiful structure. So in Disznókő, our production is very much based on the 5 Puttonyos Asszús. So this is the wine that we produce every vintage. And the 6 Puttonyos is only made in the best vintages, and it's always a selection of the best grapes, the best lots. So these wines come from the Disznókő estate, which is a single vineyard estate. It's a one-piece single vineyard in Tokaji, which is quite unique in Tokaji, because most of the estates, they have different plots in different villages, and every Disznókő wines are made only from a proper vineyard. So we produce mostly Tokaji Asszús, and the Disznókő has a really very recognizable style. So it means that we have a very clean, very fruity character, and in our Asszú wines, the sensation of the sweetness is usually less than in most of the Tokaji Asszú styles. We have a 5 Puttonyos 2007, which is still a very young Asszú, and so 2007 is a very nice vintage. Is a vintage with a lot of ripening, with beautiful aromas, beautiful purity, but a little bit less acidity than the Tokaji classic vintages. So this is a beautiful wine, beautiful apricot, fresh fruit aromas with some honey, and very well balanced acidity and structure. Still very young, but you can age it for decades. So the other wine that we have here is the 2002 6 Puttonyos, which is one of my favorite vintages, 2002. It was a very concentrated vintage, but it was concentrated for the sugars, but also very concentrated for the acidity. So it's a vintage which gave very rich wines with beautiful acidity, and we could make a very intense skin contact maceration in order to have a fantastic structure. So 2002 is a wine that has already a certain evolution. So you can see the color is a deeper color, and the nose is already more dried fruit, dried apricot, more secondary aromas as well. And the mouth is beautifully intense and long, and there is really a nested structure in it, but the acidity is very long, and the finish is almost a dry finish. So you can hardly feel the sugar at the end. So it has a very long and spicy finish. 2002 has, as I told, has a certain maturity, but still a wine that you can keep for several decades as well. So these wines, in Hungary we drink them We drink them very often alone, just celebrate the good moments when we have great moments, birthdays, etc. But we have, of course, the classic matches like foie gras, like blue cheese, like desserts. But a 6 Puttonyos is something that you can have at the end of a dish without anything, just so complex that it will give a very nice finish to your meal.
So it's an interesting variety because it's obvious this is the variety that we use for the sweet style, but it gives very fresh and very mineral dry wines.
Usually, if people like sweet wines, they love Tokaji because it's so beautiful, so aromatic, so well balanced. A lot of people have some prejudices for sweet wines, but when they taste Tokaji, they very often change their opinion about sweet wines because instead of having something really sweet, he has something extremely complex and extremely fresh when you don't think about the sugar. And I think this is really a wine that can convince the sweet wine lovers, but also those people who don't think to like sweet wines.